Okay, I have started the recording. It's been about a month since we last met. Does anyone want to go over what's going on so far amongst the three parties?
I don't know.
Does anyone remember what the three parties are?
The first is the city party, where it's all our leaders. The second
Yep.
one is a druid party, which is full of druids that are currently, I think they just currently left the city of basically the dead. And we have the third group, which is basically the was it the B team, which were like some people from the Prime World plus a couple people from actual Planescapes, and they're currently going to go into court.
They're actually in the Beastlands looking for an appraiser to appraise their prime world so that they'll know what value to demand as monetary compensation for its destruction in the courts.
Oh yeah, which currently has led us we were not in the Beastlands anymore. I think we're currently going to somewhere else.
No, they're still in the Beastlands.
Ah, okay.
They're at the throne that the Modron is sitting on. Your other party caused. The Druid party caused that situation, and now they're there to deal with it. The Druid party made their way back to Sigil, and tonight we're going to be playing as the leaders, who have an entirely different set of problems in front of them on the Prime World, as a demonic invasion is in progress.
Yes. Like currently, yeah, and then we currently, and the city group currently knows that the dead god is called the Traveler, and at least my leader knows exactly what trajectory he fell from due to some unknown object.
The Druid group does, yeah.
Well, I also know that also the city of Terra also knows a bit about because of the star map that we originally found close to the beginning. It involved that the dead god fell from the sky from some trajectory, and it was in the star map, like it was intercepted by something.
Yes, your leader had figured that out, and he got some help from the Necromancer to sort that out right before the Necromancer disappeared. But the Necromancer seemed to know a lot about what was going on, and maybe a good lead. But yeah, a copy of that star map fell into the hands of the Druid party as a result of them helping Erotask. But tonight we're going to be playing as the leaders, who don't know anything about the Druid party, but have been in constant contact with the other parties. So they're aware that there is some kind of other world in which powerful creatures walk, and that there's some kind of a trial thing that's going to go on. But they're also aware that there are demons currently invading their territories, and it looks like there's going to be an attack shortly on one of the cities. In particular, it is the city of the city that's built on top of the dead god.
Yeah, the city of Blood, Runeterra.
Yep, that's the one. You guys are currently in Lone Firma. And you can prepare your attack as best you can. What is your... We'll go ahead and discuss what you think your battle plan should be, bearing in mind the current condition of Runeterra.
So, but so our kings don't know about whenever that other party encountered the demons down and lost the Earth Mage and all that stuff, right? They don't know about that.
Oh yeah, they know all about that.
Oh well, those demons are fucking insane.
Yeah, in fact, last time you guys talked, you were seriously considering just abandoning this world and migrating into the plains.
Oh yeah, I'm still in that camp.
Yeah, because one of the things was that the only follower of the dead god is now dead, exploded in a horrible mess.
It exploded.
So I think we know that the follower is dead. That's why, because the we found the notice that the god's been dying a lot faster now. Like I think the rune tile I forget who told us that. Someone told us that the dead god was dying faster.
Your own surveyors and god mappers have told you that there's been a great deal of decay, and new cavities and tunnels have opened up that had not previously been opened before, as the body withers and begins to crumble. You may consult with them if you wish, as they are getting into new areas they had not previously explored.
To find out an update on the current situation of this dead god, as well as
Okay.
I'll need to.
A page goes through the portal that the druids have opened and returns with one of your god mappers. These guys are a special breed. They're a kind of adventurer explorer, but they specialize in exploring the body of a dead god. So they're a little kooky in the head.
And again, who's really right of mind in my city?
No one we've found so far.
Vampires and shit.
So what do you have to report about from the new openings?
Oh, it's fascinating, fascinating. We found a new cavity, you see. A wall broke away. We found a new chamber, and, well, I want to be 100% sure it was what I think it was. So I called over one of the porters, and I flayed him and looked at his insides, and I'm fairly certain, based on that mapping information, that we have found the heart of the dead god. The actual chamber that once beat and flowed with god blood. It turns out it has a tremendous hole in it.
I see.
I would very much like to show you. With your permission, sire. It is a fascinating find.
Of course, finding out more information about this dead god, the traveler, it would be helpful. It would the others like to wish to follow me?
We figured out any possible migration plans?
I think the only way that we've kind of thing is through the hordes of demons through that portal.
There was a group of druids that were working on a spell to see if they could get it to pierce the veil and go to those other places, based on what the necromancer had done. So far, the best they've accomplished is they've set up portals between your cities that are relatively stable, but they haven't gotten anything into the other world yet.
Yes, because they probably have not wanted to step in Ruin Terra and go to the place where the necromancer teleported.
Yeah, they have no interest in going anywhere near that, especially since the entire city is surrounded by demons right now. Nevertheless, you guys are able to go if you wish. You are the kings. No one will stop you.
Wasn't there a before, whenever there was that group looking for the necromancer, like, didn't they come from somewhere?
The elves came from an island across the southern sea.
Oh, do we know if those were like indigenous or if they came from somewhere?
I mean, as best you know, they were indigenous to your world. The idea of other worlds is fairly new to you. But yeah, that's as best you can tell. They came from your world, and then when they were about to lay siege to the city and try and kill their way to the necromancer, they were fed apples that gave them a vision of the future. They saw this demon army attacking the city and said, "Screw that, we're out of here."
Wow. I don't know. What's everybody else's thought on plans?
My plan is to find out as much as I can about this dead god, even more so with the rapid decaying of it, to see if there's a way that either I can be able to find its power and use it, or be able to partially revive it to cause a cataclysmic event that might wipe out the demons.
What's your opinion, other king?
Alavaston, who I think is technically a counselor.
Like elder council or whatever. Eldest council. So we know that they're coming to siege Runeterra, which is nowhere near our, not realistically nowhere near our city. Do we have like kind of a landscape? Did you have an idea of where everything is in position?
Kind of in my head. I mean, you're obviously up against the mountains.
Yeah.
Runeterra is not. It is a little bit away from the mountains. The great tree. It was in the. I was kind of visioning the strange trees being furthest west, and then the Badlands that the Wandering Rut travels through being in the east, kind of the opposite. And then and in the forests in between, somewhere is Runeterra and somewhere is Danuin.
Yeah, because I'm close to the ocean because of all the stuff that happened nearby.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So they control the strange tree. But they're not using that as like a nexus access point.
No, they're just guarding the gate that's there. There's apparently a gateway to the other worlds there that they're protecting.
Got it. So we
You
know
know
they're
this
not coming
because
through
your agents, the B team that you guys sent through, they managed to get a messenger through that gate, but the army that accompanied the messenger was killed completely.
Got it. So, would it be reasonable to assume that they have to at least somewhat partially go past? Because if they're coming from the mountain, they have to reasonably go past Lone Firma.
Yes.
So
There
there's at
is one pass that comes down from the mountains that's nowhere near Lone Firma. Obviously, Lone Firma didn't want to be found, so you guys didn't build yourself on top of a road or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is if they're just coming over the mountain, like ignoring roads and passes, then yes, they have to come over you. There is a pass that heads down that goes past the Starmoot Plateau before the road splits and it heads to the different cities. This pass was, at the time, at risk of being flooded, but a brave group of druids prevented that.
That really useful thing right now. Okay, so at least my proposition would be that should they decide to amass in a way that crosses over this city, we can attempt to covertly, obviously not with the intention of giving up this city's location, so it would have to be very strategic, but we could thin numbers headed toward Runeterra that way. At least deter, distract, and maybe reduce numbers. But if they use the main road those numbers will be unaffected.
Which number is he talking about? The demons?
Yes. We know they're going to attack, right?
Yes, and you know that their army primarily consists of humans who've been enchanted with demonic magic.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily assume they're going to use just a main thorough. They could. I don't know how organized they are. So this
They
is just
seem to be very
preparation?
organized, actually. The primary feature of them seems to be their organization.
Maybe they will use just the main road.
Yeah, I also have concerns about like their leaders and like the amount of them that were seen like before the party got through the portal. Just because their main thing is like a bunch of humans doesn't mean that we're not also going to get that giant one with the whip.
I think it's
Yeah. Your
safe to
intel
assume
does
that.
suggest that the giant one with the whip was holding the portal open. To deploy him might mean closing the portal. And if so, theoretically, if you could draw him out onto the field, that would prevent reinforcements. On the other hand, that would draw him out onto the field.
Exactly.
Do we know when this attack is going to? Do we have an idea?
You know that they've been amassing near the city, but outside of fireball range, and they've been some demonic thing has been walking through the ranks with bird wings, casting spells on people. The general assumption from the strategos within your city is that they're probably enchanting them to be fire resistant, so that they can walk through the fireballs without fear. This is primarily coming from several eyewitness accounts during the detonation of the Star Moot, that one of them had a lot of fire going on and didn't seem to be bothering them.
Okay. Another suggestion then, we have an access point to Runeterra. Does that just lead to the center of the city, or like the
Yeah, it leads to the palace.
the palace?
Yeah. I probably have several other places to go to, but I'm only the one that can access those areas.
Got it. My question would be how far, we are aware that you have an underground essentially, right? Because the city's just kind of like open, right? How far does that extend out from your city? Like, is the city's walls the end of your underground structure system, or does it extend?
That is one thing that has not been unable to be mapped, because my city sigils move slowly every single day. So 100 years ago, the underground looked a lot different than today is.
The city itself is made of a sequence of gears. It's basically a mining operation. They were mining out the body of a dead god, and so large portions of the city were built on top, on moving structures that can be adjusted and reoriented. The gears continuously tick and rotate, repositioning buildings and facilities so that they are over top of fresh veins of materials that they're mining.
Gotcha.
Literal veins.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason I ask is I was thinking of, we have a decent number of dwarves and digging capable people that could basically, given enough time, hopefully, who knows how much we have, could start basically building or digging out kind of like a trench trap setup basically around the city where it's going to be attacked.
Their ability to tunnel is legendary, and they could tunnel in supernatural speeds. However, that could still take days.
And we don't know if they're going to attack tomorrow or today or whatever.
Right. You have
No,
no indication of when the attack will begin, only that they are preparing to be invulnerable to fire.
Yes, which would not make them invulnerable to be swallowed by the earth.
Correct.
So we could have that be a plan. I know it could take days, but we also don't know when they're going to be attacking. So it could be.
If your intention, though, is to set up like underground traps, you don't need to tunnel all the way from Lone Firma. You could just
that's what I'm saying.
teleport them in.
Point. Yeah, so we would need use of the portal to move all of the best, most efficient diggers. We would talk with the dwarves about this, and then sending them through, and then from within Lone Firma, that Lone Firma has to allow this. And that's why I would like to know the mapping of your underground if it extends past your city, because then we can just use it, what's there, and then just start naturally digging. And we don't have to send them outside to expose it. They won't know this is happening.
The dwarves are well versed in underground warfare, in the art of digging tunnels under other tunnels to collapse them, and digging tunnels over tunnels to drop down into them. All these little tactics, this 3D kind of warfare. They're not well versed in the surface. If they think of the surface as just one giant cavern overhead that they're making an attack on, that's doable. But once on the surface, they're not going to be super clear on, like, you can't keep going up. All right.
Yeah.
So that kind of messes with their tactics a bit. The other thing is that they are experts at digging through stone, dirt, any number of terrestrial things. They are not experts at digging through gods, and are not certain what will happen. On the other hand, Runeterra does have god experts, god digging experts, one of whom is in the room with you.
We basically just need to connect a dwarf and a god expert, and just they need to be able to dig to the furthest edge of the god or whatever would be past the city, map them that far, and then they can somewhat take. And yes, we'll keep them underground kind of thing. But Runeterra's thoughts on that? This is your underground.
I'm willing to give up resources to be able to keep the city safe, to keep the world safe. I've built so much to not just I just do not want to run away when there's so much left here. We don't know if that would just happen the same thing when we go to the new place.
I think that's a sentiment our city shares. We don't want to go anywhere. We have stuff set up and designed to serve.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind like leaving, but it doesn't seem like there is an exit strategy like forming. So I guess if the only other option is complete annihilation or helping y'all, I guess I'll help y'all.
Inspirational speeches. Okay, so the some dwarves hook up with the god diggers. The god diggers come up with a sort of sinister plan. They know that there are areas of the corpse that are super dangerous, but they've learned how to navigate them over the years. They're going to guide the dwarves through those areas and then dig the tunnels that will pull people in. Once those tunnels are dug, they'll sneak back through, but basically they're going to force a choke point in some of the most dangerous areas of the god tunnels, where the gears grind the hardest and the horrors that come out of the blood are most dangerous.
That's fantastic.
Though there will still be people that are not caught in the tunnels you'll have to deal with overland. The tunnels are not a omnipresent solution, but they'll certainly make it a bad day for some percentage of the oncoming army.
Yes, and luckily for us, not all the blood mages that I have, we do not use fire for our damage. using the blood within the demon itself is enough to cause damage.
Yeah, the fire was like a thing from the druids. They had that fireball wand mass produced.
So it's just that they were looking to protect themselves from?
Yep. Yeah, the raccoons just randomly gave the druids a rod of. It's not just a rod of fireballs, it's a siege rod. It's a rod that fires off multiple fireballs in a spread when it's used. It kind of sprays them around a little bit. They're not very precise, but what you're fighting are armies, they're devastating.
So without digging, talked about what about this room you talked about the heart room you had spoken about?
Oh, yes, yes. I must show you. The strangest stones are embedded in the walls, but only in these two great circles. Fascinating.
Does anyone else want to come?
Yeah, I mean, if we're all going.
Your
I don't
hyenas are
know.
nervous about the prospect, but they'll follow you.
Yeah, I don't know that I really have anything to contribute other than an expedition somewhere.
It's probably good to find out this information. On the side for the we know that the army is amassing outside, and there's a set of the army at the strange tree. What that pass that they use? That's just like a thoroughfare pass, right? Like it's basically like a wide road to the mountains that they would use.
Basically, yeah, it's a section of the mountains that is not as steep as going straight up the mountain.
Okay, and do we have any intel on whether or not it's being used at the moment? Like, do we know if anything's traveling?
Yes, reinforcements are traveling down the road in regular columns.
Okay.
Sometimes they're going the other way, though. They're not consistently feeding into this fight. Troops are being pulled out to be relieved. Yeah. It's a supply line, not just a faucet flowing into you.
Got it. I want to potentially mess with that, so I want to send anybody he needs and with instructions, and send my Earth Druid to try to like mess with that supply line and basically block that path.
Okay. Your Earth Druid will go and try and do what Uthalor could not.
Yeah, as subtly as possible, and I'm sure we can send whatever he needs. But if he could interrupt that's my goal with him, and then I can go with them to see this interesting thing once that's.
Okay. So your druid is deployed, and the dwarves are deployed, and now it's time for you guys to go and visit Runeterra. It was never the most pleasant of cities, but arriving, you find that there is a smoke billowing over the city that is very oppressive. It's coming from fires being lit in a ring around the city, and having something tossed into them that's creating this kind of like a dark red smoke that's rising up out of it. The yeah, the captain of your guard, Tice, meets you. Lord Matthias, they may attack at any moment. It is not safe here. I implore you to return through the portal.
I've come here to find out critical information that might potentially help favor us in this war.
He kneels and says, "As you command." Your god digger is just very excited. He's poring over his maps. He seems like he's about to order somebody else to be flayed, just so he can double check the coordinates that he's trying to get to. He wants to examine their insides so that he knows what route to take.
Well, that's gross.
Yeah, these are not nice people.
We don't want to waste too much time. Just take me the usual route.
Very well, my lord. As you exit the palace, you find that the smoke has basically covered the sky, making it almost impossible to see the sky. And yet, up above, you hear the flapping of wings, and some creature kind of dips just below the smoke line above the city. It's bright blue, covered in spikes, and then it flaps itself back up again. You hear cries echoing across the cloud. "They're here! They're here!" And suddenly a great pulse of energy rises up from the ground, fills the cloud, and then strikes down at the palace. But not at you. It strikes into the palace and hits the portal you came in through.
Oh, spectacular.
Choking on smoke, one of your priests emerges from the building and says, "Sire, the portal, it's damaged somehow. We can't open it. It needs a power source." Your your, your little dancing god digger says, "Yes, yes, the stones, they have power. I'll show you. Quickly, into the god." And so they take you down between a couple gears, a dangerous squeeze that you realize could crush a man if the gears ticked at just the wrong moment, and enter into the tunnels beneath the god, or beneath the city, within the god itself. Your captain of the guard is still with you as you descend, and he says, "Sire, they're attacking. Your orders."
Uh, 1 second, but fire is useless. Use the blood mages to cause some confusion among them. Use their own blood against them, and also withdraw them um into the lower part of the region to potentially catch them off in gears. But I'll be right back.
Okay. It's fortunate that your dwarves got a bit of a head start while you were dealing with the druid, because it seems that their attack was timed to coincide with your arrival. They were waiting to lure the kings here and then cut off their ability to retreat before attacking.
Got it.
How would they
So that
know
was a
we
scout.
would be coming?
that scout that dropped down.
Yep,
Told them we
that
were
was a
here.
Spinagon, and yes, that was definitely a scout that was there to figure out when you had gotten there, and then report that it was time to cast the spell that would close the portal and begin the attack.
Yeah, we should have questioned more why there was this thing constantly flying around while the rest of them were just sitting there. I kind of glazed over that. I didn't think about it. I thought maybe it was trying to figure out weak points or something. But yeah, that was.
The good news is, since the spell was cast, the smoke is starting to dissipate.
They were causing the smoke?
Yes. They had lit fires in a circle. The smoke was a material component for a containment spell to prevent portals from functioning. It made things annoying for their scouts, because they had to dive below the smoke and check for you and then fly back up into it before they were shot by arrows.
So wait, so except for Rune Terra for sure, but do I and Kite, do we have access to our armies and
You did, back when you were at Lone Firma.
If we hadn't crossed.
so we're fucked, essentially.
Unless we see what's going on down below.
The mages here seem to think that whatever these magic rocks are they found in the heart of the god, that they can use it to power up the portal again.
Oh, yeah, let's definitely do that before we're annihilated. I, for one, am anti-annihilation.
That's a wise policy. So proceeding through the maze of bone and sinew, the guy seems to get lost a couple times. He backtracks a couple times. He probably would have found his way a little bit faster if he'd been allowed to skin one of his servants to examine the insides. But he does eventually manage to find his way from the drawn maps, and you enter into a large open chamber. Those of you who are not familiar with anatomy, it would just look like a weirdly shaped spheric room made of multiple spheres, kind of. But yeah, anyone who's ever done any butchery knows it to be a heart. But the inside, the hollowed portion, like you're in the space where a heart should be but isn't. There are two segments, one on the floor and one on the ceiling, where the material on the walls of the heart seems to be incredibly badly damaged. More so than the rest of the rotting corpse that you've gone through. And around the outside of this ring are small stones glowing with a soft violet light. There do appear to be veins running from the stones into the walls of the chamber, or the floor of the chamber. One has to remember that this is the god lying down, dead, where once it stood. So what are now the floor and ceiling were once the front and back walls. And the hallway you walked in through was one of the aortal tubes.
Gross.
This is so weird to think about. It's a more grotesque version of Magic School Bus.
Yes, way more grotesque. Also, this is not a living creature anymore. This is definitely a dead creature, and you may be seeing right now one of the main sources of its demise. It appears that whatever these small rocks are that are around these openings, they appear to have leached some kind of something into the heart, and if that something was a toxin, then that may have been what killed the god.
Got it. So you're saying these are like there's like holes? Is this just like in a circle, or is this actually like is the stone kind of floating but then attached with things? Like I'm trying to.
It's a circle of little stones, and the inside
Oh,
of the
okay.
circle is very badly damaged scar tissue. It looks like you're looking at an entry and an exit wound, and the debris that was left by the projectile that went through it. And that debris are these tiny little stone fragments that appear to be highly toxic. At least to gods.
Got it. This makes a lot more sense. Okay, but that means there's a lot of these little stones.
Yes, there's a lot of them. They glow of their own with a soft purple light. And little purple veins of energy are running into the heart, but not really doing anything.
So these are the things that necromancer guy thinks can open the portal again, these stones?
Yes. He's not really a necromancer. He's like a dead body. He's a corpse explorer. Yeah. He's a Titanic corpse explorer adventurer guy. He's got the hat, you know, that those British big game hunter guys would wear. It serves no purpose other than fashion down here. There is no noonday sun he needs to have warded off.
Like, all right, we'll start gathering these things up and go stick them in the portal so we don't die.
Yeah, has anyone touched one or tried to remove?
No. The explorer explains, oh no, strict policy. We don't touch. We wait until there is a suitable experimental subject to come in contact with it.
So just someone else dumb enough.
Yes, quite right. One of the inferiors. He has just absolutely no shame whatsoever about saying that.
I mean, I have a city that's built around that kind of stuff, so I kind of get it, but I don't kill them. So it's a little different.
A little different, yeah. In your city, they're a labor force. In this city, they're the harvest.
I guess I could have used my people as crops as well.
I mean, these guys literally drink a wine made of blood. Tice, are you back yet?
A random citizen grab it. Probably with I didn't realize we were waiting.
Apparently, I was on mute or something.
Ah, there he is.
Not now.
Welcome back.
But you may be muted again.
Testing.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking. I was learning, and nothing was going on.
Yeah. So what were you saying?
Oh yeah, because one of the things I was saying is that so no one has touched me yet. So I guess this like is there parts of the remains of the heart still here? Like
You're inside of the heart.
okay. How shall we get these out? Also, the discovery of the heart means that we have a potential key part of several different rituals, which we can use to link two hearts together or bring something back.
Potentially, you could try to bring the god back to life. That would be extraordinarily difficult, and you're not sure you have the raw power to do it. Another thing, though, is that because you now know the entry and exit wound locations, if you could figure out the full height of the god, you could figure out the angle with which the projectile that killed it went through its chest.
And where it potentially landed.
Exactly.
Because, yes. You have to find out how tall the god is.
Yep.
Maybe
You need to know how tall he was, where he stood, and where the projectile originated before it struck him. Yes. You're pretty sure you know where he stood because he fell and died here. So, yeah, that part's kind of easy. How tall he is going to be a measurement of finding both the head and the feet. And then the last part is to figure out where the projectile originated before it went through him. That'll give you the direction that he was standing at the time, because he may have spun after he hit. Once you know those things, then it's just a matter of math, and you'll calculate exactly where the projectile fell.
Indeed.
It is worth noting that the shrapnel from the projectile is just pulsing with power. And, yeah, your guys theorize that there's enough power in those stones if you can find a way to safely tap them to open the portal up despite the demon spell. However, the stones do appear to have been toxic, at least to this god. Veins of energy are kind of flowing out from the stones into the heart, and they're not really doing anything. The heart is dead, but they're not bringing it back to life. Indications are that they were harmful.
I mean, wouldn't we just be able to do like the whole scoop it up with a shovel and like wear some kind of gloves like a dwarf grabbing like stuff like that? Or
I love practical solutions. I was worried somebody was going to come up with some kind of ridiculous magical like Rube Goldberg machine.
My tunnelers are a little busy right now. Otherwise,
I just imagine a bunch of mages like, and then my character who is not a mage just standing around and they're going, "Oh, mystical rocks, I don't know," and I'm just like, just get some gloves and pick it up, like
shovel it into a wheelbarrow and we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see like weird attached things to it, but this is an organic thing, so. Or is it organic? Is the heart?
The heart is
Does
organic.
it look like?
The stones are not. They're rock.
Is there gears inside the heart too, or are the gears like more outside?
They're more outside. They have not been able to install any gears yet. The heart is a new find.
Gotcha.
Yes. I guess we can get some. Does anyone have gloves on them right now? Yeah. I was like, look over to the archaeologist, the god archaeologist, and be like, pick one up.
He says, "Oh, sire, this is of course a task for a servant or a porter, certainly."
Aren't you a servant of the city?
Well, yes, of course, sire, but there may be consequences. it's always wiser in scientific inquiry to utilize an expendable resource.
I mean, this guy's obviously just trying to save his own ass in case.
Oh, so much
but
so.
But I mean, if you have peons like in the area, just have a peon pick it up.
If you can find a peon within the next 3 minutes, then you do not have to pick it up. But if you cannot find one in the next 3 minutes, you will pick it up.
Of course, sire, of course. And he scampers down the tunnel looking for a worker. Two minutes and 59 seconds later, he comes back with some poor worker he grabbed off of one of the gear chains. Good lad, servant to the city. He'll take care of it. Go on then, lad. Pick up that rock. This being a worker, he is wearing gloves. Otherwise, he'd have blood all over his hands, and it just contaminate the wine. It wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
In his gloved hands, he picks up a rock. Says, "Where do you want me to put it, sire?" He's looking kind of nervous. Like he doesn't know why he was chosen. He's half hoping it's because he's the chosen one. He's about to get a promotion.
Does your city have wheelbarrows in it?
We should have stuff on him. I'll just take the sack off his bag and I'll get him to put it in.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go far enough down, there are wheelbarrows. This is basically a mining operation. It's just they're mining body parts instead of rock. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Use basic standards of safety, and nobody dies. It seems.
All right. You load up the wheelbarrow with a bunch of these glowing rocks. You begin wheeling it down. As you are heading down the tunnel, you're met up with a group of dwarves who've just come. They seem to be kind of hurrying, and you hear these screams of terror from behind them, and they just kind of chuckle. And hurry, let's go!
So those are good screams.
Oh, yes. You get near the surface, and you hear the sounds of battle. There is fighting. It sounds like there may actually be fighting in the streets, like some people may have breached one of the walls. But you have an opportunity here. You can just go back to the portal and try and activate it, or while you're here, you could find the feet and head and get the measurement.
I don't know that my guy even knows how to measure things.
We used your expertise for the day already with gloved hands. Solid contribution. Actually.
If we're gonna go try to find the head, one thing we can do is go back to where the heart is, because there's a vessel that goes towards the upper half of the body, right? And we could use it to attempt to locate the head part by sending magic through the channels of its veins.
That would work. You could do that. You have the magic to run a channel of energy through the veins.
Oh yeah, you can just pulse.
We're operating without Uther tonight, so we can't actually do dice rolls. But yeah,
that's what I was wondering. I hit the thing and I was just like, I don't think we're gonna be able to make dice rolls.
No, not tonight. But that's okay. It's going to be a short session anyways. I've got work tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fair. We can pull up roll 20 or something.
That's fine.
Dice.
Oh, yeah, it'll be all fear of the mind.
We can just roll, or we can just roll actual dice. Like, oh, I got a 20 again.
So what do you want to do?
To head back to the heart and use it as a base of like the circulatory system, using the circulatory system and magic to basically find out where the potential head and feet are, so that we can head into those locations.
Okay. The explorer is taking the stones back to the palace to fix the portal. Do you guys want to go with him or with Tice?
I need to get to the portal so I can rally troops.
Okay.
Yeah, understandably, it might be good for us to get the cities connected again.
Yeah, if I can rally troops, I can literally get my city here.
Can we actually assist down here? I guess is a question to.
Your assistance would largely be in the form of combat assistance if he gets cut off while he's performing his ritual.
Got it. I cannot do that.
Indeed. And
so if combat assistance is needed, then maybe the wandering route may want to help.
I mean, yeah, I guess as long as he can get over there and get the thing opened, and then I guess after I'm done watching over this weak little blood mage, yeah, would be able to.
oh yeah, you actually have real combat ability.
Yeah. I mean,
he has combat.
I don't have like a necessary like a bash skill or anything, but like I do have a hyena, and I am very tanky.
Yeah.
I would be good at bolstering people, but if there's not really people that are capable of fighting, then it's pointless. So if we need, I can go back and secure the portal.
Wow, you're not just regular tanky, you're like mentally tanky too.
Oh yeah, this guy was built on the premise of like don't get within like front rage. Plus, there's the whole with his name being bad luck. It's bad luck for other people to like have dealings with him. Like bad luck to fight this guy.
Alrighty. So, let's see. So Alavastan is heading to the portal to rally troops, and Bad Luck Schleprock? Schleprock? Is that his pronunciation?
Yeah, Schleprock, yeah.
Bad Luck Schleprock and King Matthias are heading to the heart to perform a mapping ritual through the veins. Alright, we'll deal with you first, Alavastan. Arriving at the portal, they start taking the stones and placing them in a circle around it and basically trying to leech energy out of the stones. It takes a little bit of doing, but eventually they get the portal back on first in like a small like vocal communication only mode. Is there anything you want to shout while they work on getting people to be able to transfer through it? You can send orders, but not people currently, but you'll be able to send people soon. On your way here, there was fighting in the streets. The blood mages are attacking some of the Imperial Guard, the Empire's soldiers who are climbing over the walls on ladders. There is a great deal of fighting in front of the city as well, and on some of the sides where some people basically ran out to engage to keep them in place so that the dwarves' tunnels could collapse properly and catch a bunch of them.
Gotcha. So we ran by a bunch of people, basically
Yeah.
engaged into like individual.
Blood mages they're trying to engage at range with these guys. These guys are mostly melee fighters. So they're basically a bunch of blood mages are like kiting and killing Imperial soldiers in the streets.
Got it. So I wanna use rally on the way. I assume it should be somewhat sufficient for these people to do kind of what they need to do once we get there. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing with the stones. But my goal is along the way, because these people are attacking, is to do something to basically untax them a bit. Since they're casting spells or whatever they need, this gives them more ground to do that.
Okay. That's a good ability.
And so I just run out as we're running through, and I'm just kind of shouting to as many as I can as I go and changing the speech a little bit as I go. But the gist of it comes down to they have a king, right? There's
Yes.
so
His
your
name
king
is Matthias.
King Matthias. King Matthias works tirelessly below to aid all of you. It is your great honor to do everything in your power to stop from here in service and protection of your city. And I'm just saying that as we kind of go.
Let's see. And what is your leadership?
So it burns 1 leadership, and I have 5 leadership. So they all
recover 5
would
tax.
theoretically recover 5 tax.
That is devastating.
Probably
for
give them
mages.
another spell.
Yeah, that's for mages. That's pretty awesome. You basically refilled their spells.
Yeah. So I'll do that for as many as I can on the way, and then I'll kind of oversee the portal and just kind of keep an eye on what's going on.
Okay. So the fighting in the streets then is starting to seem like it's going a little bit better. The mages at least managed to recover some ground and drive them back away from the openings to the pits. You arrive then, and you can shout one message through to your people while they're trying to get the portal up and running. Are there any orders you want to give while you're waiting for the portal to be operational for sending troops through?
Okay, so I can send a message actually through the portal.
Yes, you can talk through it. They can hear you on the other side. They just can't send physical material yet. They got to get more of the stones working.
Okay, so probably just I'll just shout something through gather and arm yourselves. But no, I think that's the main instruction I'll send. Get a contingent basically ready to possibly move through the portal or organize a route outside the city. But most likely, if we need to bring them through the portal, kind of thing.
Okay. They start work, supposedly, from what you can hear. All right. Meanwhile, down in the tunnels, down in the heart, in fact, Tice, you begin casting your spell. Max, you hear shouting, but it's not coming down the tunnel. It's coming through the walls. Like somebody in some part of the body adjacent to the heart is having a rough time of it. The shouts grow louder and are joined by other voices. They're shouting in the sort of imperial accent that you recognize as being vile oppressors, people opposed to freedom, the ones who send your people out into the wilderness to begin with. Something seems to be clawing at them or attacking them on the other side of that wall.
But it's the people I don't like getting attacked.
That is correct.
That's fine. I will just let that happen.
All right. After a moment, you hear a loud voice, and basically a small section of the wall kind of rips inward as a bloody form. It looks kind of like a dog made entirely of bones that are just dripping blood, but with no muscle attached to it, is thrown into the room. Landing, the bones trying to like merge with the wall, but the tissue is all dead. They can't find purchase, and so it reforms into a dog and runs back at the hole in the wall. And as it leaps at the hole, a hand comes through the hole and catches it in the throat, crushing the bones in the hand. And out through the hole steps an Erenes. Bright blue wings with streaks of orange and silver running through the feathers. It's basically otherwise a person, but with just these beautiful wings. As it drops the bones with its right hand, its left hand hefts up a kind of looks like a glass shield and holds it in front of it. Tice, you are almost finished with your spell. You just need like another round of combat.
Well, that doesn't seem good.
Max, what would you like to do? If this guy gets to Tice, he might interrupt his spell. But Tice is nearly finished. You just have to keep this guy distracted for one round. I know you have like a collection of random magical nonsense on you too.
My king, I don't think.
Oh no, your king just has the personal hyena. Okay.
If me and him struggle, that's like an opposed roll, correct?
Kind of, yeah.
And you said that he has like a glass shield?
Yeah, it looks like he's holding up a shield made of glass. Like you can see right through the shield. His right hand is empty. It used to hold the bones of some kind of bone golem dog thing that had probably been summoned to attack him. But that thing is dead now. It's a pile of bleeding bones on the ground. But he has no weapon for his right hand, which for you screams caster and danger.
Yeah. I want to try to like bum rush him within like melee range and try to see if I can't shove the shield. Like since it looks like it has glass or spikes or something, like because I'm assuming that would look sharp, maybe. Like maybe shove that into him somehow or his neck or whatever to like obstruct him.
The edges might be sharp. It's hard to tell, but there are no spikes on the outside. It's just glass for what it looks like. All right, well, so you rush at him.
When I slam into it, it won't. Yeah, it won't poke me.
That's correct. Your rush catches him off guard. He was not expecting that, and so you attempt to grapple with him and with the shield. Let's see. Your vigor is 2, and your unarmed is 0. Are you using any melee weapons?
I mean, I thought melee was just like fists and hands.
No, melee is a weapon that you hold in your hands. Fists would be unarmed.
I don't have anything other than the hyena. I mean, there was just bones.
There are definitely bones.
Take a sharp bone off the ground and try to use that to assist in the stabbing.
Okay. You grab the sharp bone and you begin stabbing. He needs to put the shield in his way, which gives you an opportunity to grab at it. The two of you struggle. You start pushing him back towards the hole until the hole is basically plugged with the shield. He can't get at you, you can't get at him, and then you see a glow from his hand, and a bolt goes straight through his own shield and strikes you in the chest, knocking you back and across the room. Tice, you complete your spell and receive a measurement of the height of the dead god. Upon completing the spell, you sort of drop to the ground briefly, and then look up. There is the Irene standing there with the shield stepping back through the hole.
Tell Tice, we might want to just go.
I'll give them a distraction.
All right, what you gonna do?
1 second. Let's see. I'm going to like he's gonna. I'm going to like pull out a small dagger. I'm going to like cut my palm open for a little bit of blood, and I'll write a little bit of a older language on the wall as I flare it with magic to call upon an entity through the courts.
Ooh, okay. Which entity? Let's see, you've got your king here.
I'm unsure at this moment because I have Eldritch Courts and I know a guy as well as Eldritch Favor.
Okay, so you never specified like what entities were in your court?
Well, yeah, because I didn't know exactly what entities were in this world.
Oh,
Something to do.
Yeah. The whole point of this was to make up what was in this world. So what kind of a critter are you summoning?
I'm summoning I'll just go with like a blood golem, or yeah, one of the bouncers one of the bouncers from the court.
All right, so you cut into the wall. There's not much blood left here, but there's a little bit on the floor, and so a little bit from the wall and a little bit from the floor trickle together and form into the shape of a circulatory system with no other features. It's roughly man-shaped, but it's just the circulatory system, blood flowing in its continuous loop. And it charges at the Urines. And he lights up his hand to strike at it. The energy kind of goes through it and just hits the wall. As the blood flows around the energy bolt. And then the blood creature kind of splashes against the shield. It pulls back and resplashes a couple times, reforming, but every time it forms, there's a little bit less blood. Your magic sense is that the shield is absorbing the magic from the creature somehow with each impact.
Yeah, I'll still just stay at this doorway over here, like away from the shield guy, so the shield guy has to actually get out to. That's where he can get him, and then well, you and I can just head out.
Yeah, I was gonna say we probably need to get outside of the group so we don't have to fight this guy alone.
You do have a sort of a thought that if you had one of those stones, and there are a few, you filled up a wheelbarrow, but there's still a few left in the room. If you had one of those little glowing stones, it might give you enough of a boost to break through his shield. Or you can run.
Yeah, I'll pick up a stone.
When your bare hand touches the stone, you find yourself no longer standing in the heart. And Max, you also find yourself no longer standing in the heart. The two of you find yourself standing on a patch of red rock with a swirling storm of black smoke around you. In the distance, you hear voices. Briefly, the smoke parts, and you see a group of adventurers kneeling over a child, a small girl. They're feeding her some kind of drink. Then bright white ghosts burst out of her, storming the sky, and then the group vanishes. The swirling smoke kind of dissipates around you, and then you suddenly find yourself back in the heart. But it's not the same layout you recall. The Eurynes is not standing in front of you as he was, but standing at the entrance. There's a couple other Imperial guards that have come out with him. He's shouting at them, "I don't care what it takes, find them! Where did they go?" Their backs are to you. You have an open shot. His shield can't block.
Hmm.
If he's hesitant, I'll just I'll put out my hand and I will see my hand still bleeding from the thing. I will sort of just like picture where his heart might be, and I will just start grabbing onto it through the power of blood magic. Because since he is unaware, he is unprepared for the attack, I might have a higher chance of success.
You feel the energy of the stone pulse through your body to your open wound, and when you squeeze, you hear his heart burst in his chest, and he falls to the ground dead.
Oh, jeez.
This was not a person, by the way, guys. This was a demon that he just killed.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's a little overkill very quickly.
You hear a voice in the back of your head that says, "Kill them all."
All right, go get all those stones. We're gonna use to open the portal, Tice, and just blow all these demons over.
No one tells me what to do, but that does sound like a good idea.
I mean, it might be good to get those in the hands of blood mages. Or terrible.
And I will begin to draw the blood out of the Imperial's eyes.
Again, you feel the energy course through you, and it's just more strength than you can control. Their entire bodies just explode in a burst of blood and sinew. The voice says, "Yes, kill more. That one there." There's no one else left in the room except for your friend and fellow king.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't know who you are. There will be more demons dead soon enough. And I'll start whacking out.
Your steps are getting progressively harder to take. You feel veins from your feet trying to leave your leg and embed themselves in the floor. The voice screams, "No, kill now! Destroy! Burn it all!" It's very clearly, at this point, coming from the stone.
Can I see that he's having issues, like...
Oh, yeah.
moving and stuff?
Purple glowing veins are flowing from the stone in his hand up his arm and shoulder and are, like, reaching at his head. The bits of his legs seem to be growing into tentacles that are gripping into the floor.
As I see this, I'm like, all right, this was fun at first, but now it's getting a little bit real. I'm going to try to, like, smack the stone, like, out of his hand.
Tice, are you going to try to avoid him smacking the stone out of your hand?
No.
All right, you smack the stone clear of his hand. It thumps against the wall and stops glowing, at least for now. Your leg returns to normal, but your hand has like a burn in it where you were holding the stone, and the purple veins haven't quite left you yet. They're just not pulsing and growing anymore. You take 10 tacks. You can divide that however you want amongst various things, but 4 of it needs to go all into one place.
I'll take half into health and half into composure, as it grips through both my body and my mind.
Okay.
I'll take a sling and I'll just like put it into the stone into my pocket for now, not touching it with my actual hand.
Okay. You have the blackened stone in your pocket.
It's my nuke button.
Your new nuclear option. All right. I don't know, like, how much you guys heard about what happened with Uthalor, because you haven't heard from the druids yet, so you probably don't know that bit. So yeah. Meanwhile, back at the portal, your army has come through. Well, sort of.
So,
I mean, the guys you asked for came through. It's not your entire army.
no, it was definitely a subset. I'm still defensive of my own.
Your janitor with the shovel has come through.
Perfect. So I'll instruct who's ever available to go out and assist with just maintaining.
All right, some archery support is welcome.
Yeah.
Also, a few guys that can handle melee, because most of these mages cannot, is pretty good. So they sort of help support. And then you hear word that the king has not yet come back out of the tunnels. So gathering a small group, you head towards the tunnel entrance, where you find the king and actually both kings emerging. Looking pretty beat up, covered in gore and scarred with like charred marks from magical battle. But they're being chased by some Imperial soldiers, and your guys sort of dive down and get between them and the Imperials and engage. So you 3 kings have emerged. Now the question is, do you keep trying to protect the city, or do you retreat and abandon it?
We know they wanted to. They staged this attack for when we're here. Like, what happens when we leave? Like, we visibly, like, we make them aware that we've left.
Oh, we have the current information.
Yeah, so you have the information you need.
I
Yep.
just don't know.
Yeah, the only
I
thing
don't
you
know
need to know now is
better.
the origin of where the projectile came from.
Yeah, so they scheduled, they set up this attack based on us being here. If we kind of get out and then have it organized in the ranks can have our men kind of shouting that like as a morale boost, and another thing is say the kings are safe, they've left the city. It could alleviate the attack on the city.
Could do. Could also
It
take
could increase the attack on the city.
could take a prisoner of war with you to witness it and then leave him behind. Could lure one of the demons to chase you to the portal. Or you can bring more troops through and try to retake the city. Drive the Imperials out.
What does the current front look like? Like how much damage did the tunnels cause, and kind of just the fending off so far? Like what are the numbers look like? Or are we?
The tunnels didn't cause as much damage as their greed at finding a tunnel leading into the city did. They're rushing into the twisting gears and the bone monsters that live down there was the undoing of a large percentage of the Imperials that thought they would find an easy victory that way. Those that remained on the surface have slogged through their formations. They've taken some ranged fire, but gotten up onto the walls. The big problem now is if you drive them out of the walls, you need a way to reinforce the front gate, which they've opened. So you need to get that closed again, and then at that point, you would need to basically get ready again because they still have a stream of soldiers, potentially, although you don't know what the end result is going to be from your dude on the mountain range. But they potentially still have more soldiers they can call in. So staying to protect it is going to be a long, ongoing process, whereas leaving now is a quick and instant process.
I think the first decision will be Ruterra's king. And then we have to make decisions based on that. I know you just got information that you may want to act upon, but this is also your city.
Yeah. I also found out that the magic stones are attached to something angry. As I like show my arm with like purple veins.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever y'all want to do.
The way the portals are all connected, are they the druids? Do they have one ways, and we have we have like a focal point on the druid city, or did we open at one just directly to Lumfirma?
So the way the druids have it set up, they have a portal spell they're maintaining that basically lets you step through the portal to whichever city you wish. They have the portals. They'd always had something like that set up between Danuin and their little mystic place, but now it also connects Lome Firma and Runeterra. And technically the Wandering Rut, if you did want to go there.
Or bring people from there to here.
True.
But I mean, the projectile could have ended up near whatever the city it's closest to. When
people or hyenas.
Yes.
Yeah.
The more thing is that if we retreat and let them overtake the city, that my city has a lot of valuable information that they might be able to use to continue to increase their numbers and strength through all the knowledge that my city has. So they might become an unstoppable force going on to the other cities.
And you didn't get all of the stones. For one thing, you were only able to get the stones that were on the floor. You weren't able to get any of them out of the ceiling. So however many stones you got, more than twice that number remain.
Yeah, and I don't think we want them getting them.
Options do exist to sabotage the entrance, but there is that back tunnel that they used when they fell through the dwarven hole and tried to make their way into the city through the tunnels.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone who made that trip is now dead, but the route is still present to be found.
Yes, whatever it was, and whatever it was, made these stones, like, they make whoever uses them super powerful, but at a cost. So I best believe that, with my knowledge of the layout of the city, your knowledge of the undergrounds, and your knowledge of fighting, we should be able to stage defense here.
Yeah, we can try. I can call in forces.
Your forces are exactly the kind of people that would be good in an urban environment, too. They're muggers and thieves. The kind of people that know how to dodge around through alleys and stab people. Not so good at holding formations out in a field of battle, but inside a city, they're pretty devastating.
Yeah, clean up the city.
Yeah, especially since you have your people would have a lot of a very intimate knowledge of the city, having spies in here for a while.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's one of the only things that you might want to think about too, is that more of them are gonna get in. If you're cool with that, I mean, yeah, that's cool.
Well, currently it's either that or let our world be overtaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, between the demons and the rat, I'd let the rat in. All right, so it sounds like we're defending.
All right. It's going to be a long, hard fight, but hopefully your allies in the other worlds have things they're doing that will help you, which we'll get back to in our next session. Sorry this one's a little short. I don't have tomorrow off. I had to switch schedules around because one of my coworkers had to attend a funeral, so yeah. I'm going to need to crash shortly, but good job, everybody. Go ahead and do closing ceremonies.
Yes, I'd like to give one to Max for just being resourceful and just like I'm just gonna go pick a bone or something to beat up this guy.
Well,
I don't need no fancy weapons.
That was when I realized, oh, I never really gave my guy even a dagger or a sword or anything. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, there's bones, right? I need a rock.
Yeah, and I want to give one to Kite for just realizing more now later on that like how much closer our cities are for their ideals, even though we might have some different opinions on how we treat our food. I meant our minions.
I'd like to give one to Tice for having the balls to pick up one of those things and then using it to obliterate everything in the area but me. That was cool. And then Kite for being like the strategic head on the shoulders this fight. Like, yeah, we might be able to do this, but we're really better idea to do these things over here. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, let's see. Max for being really the only physical capable person with us right now. I mean, I guess Tice, you have magic, but it was good. We have a step up thing, and you are usually kind of like you were saying, you were trying to get the exit strategy thing, but you were co-oping for like the better and stuff like that, which was an interesting shift. But then that your character is a freaking tank is badass. It's super beneficial right now. And then Tice, yeah, I think, yeah, we spent a while not figuring out, or not, we were really excited that someone thought to put a gloved hand to pick up a stone, and then you just grabbed one. Like you sent a minion, you threatened to murder a guy, like that whole exchange was great, and then you just grabbed one yourself. And then crushing someone's heart is fantastic. Especially what you did, like what thing it was. Had we fought Nerenes yet? Erenes?
This is the first one you've actually like taken the time to fight instead of flee from. You did briefly get into a tussle with one. The druids did. They got into a tussle with one in Yggdrasil. But then, yeah, things were going poorly, and you ran.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and now, like, you definitely get the sense that the more spells you had cast with that power, the worse it would have been when you put the stone down. That it was the buildup of power that caused it to hurt so badly when the stone was knocked out of your hand. One spell before you put it down again might not have been so bad, but you don't know now that it's got its purple on you if it's a cumulative effect. It might be that continued use would just destroy you if you ever stopped using it.
You got to wean off of that.
One curious thing, though, is when you first picked it up, it didn't just show you a vision. It actually teleported you and your companion to some other place. You witnessed some crazy shit going on there that you didn't really understand, and then it teleported you back, and it very obviously time had passed. The Erenes didn't know where you had gone, was trying to set up search parties to figure out where you were. Yeah, so there was a lot of crazy shit that went on there that I'm glad you got to explore. It all would have been hidden if you hadn't picked up the stone. So thank you.
Yeah, I saw. When you mentioned it, I saw the thing on. I saw the thing. I saw the thing that you were throwing down, so I decided to pick it up.
It's also really good that we didn't have that peon like actually touch the stone, because that would have been.
Yeah, it would have been hilarious. Oh my goodness. There have been so many dead people.
You.
Yeah.
He would have declared himself the new king.
And then probably fucking exploded.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because at least I'm used to casting magic. He probably never casted magic in his life, so like.
I'm amazing, yeah.
It would be like the scene from what's it called?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Yeah, where she grabs the power stone and then just explodes. Yeah, that's basically... He would have caused some more damage than she did first, but yeah, same idea.
I love how everybody else during that scene too, they're kind of looking at her in awe and like watching what's going to happen, and she's got this really horrible look on her face, and she can tell like this is going to be really bad. And the only one that really does anything is the Collector. He's like, no, get down.
He knew all about the stones.
Yeah, he also knew about things like not the Eternals. I think there was an image of they're like the super gods.
Oh, you're talking about the Celestials?
Yeah, the Celestials.
Which they're totally doing a movie for in the next phase. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Regarding the experience points you guys got tonight, you may put those on your king, your country, or your B team squires. Your choice. And that's it. I'm going to stop the recording, and we'll pick up again next week.
Alrighty.